Children vs. Wizards, also known as Kids Against the Sorcerers or Children Against the Sorcerers or something like that. Wholesome family-friendly film that is not Russian propaganda, don't even worry about it. Doesn't this just make you so nostalgic for early 2000s cursed CGI animation? If so, I have some unfortunate news, which is that this movie came out in 2016. This movie, someone fully looked at this movie in the year of our Lord 2016 and said, yep, looks great. Now the animation is a work of art. However, it's actually the least concerning thing about this movie, which was made in response to Harry Potter promoting witchcraft and corrupting the youth of Russia. Yes, I know, Joanne is very stinky and we're currently all trying to reconcile our happy childhood memories of Harry Potter with that whole... I know. We're not talking about that today. This movie is apparently based on a book which is exponentially more insane and violent and features the Harry Potter characters just they're in there, just without their names changed or anything. Harry is obviously the villain. He's super evil. You know, he's just fucking turbo evil, this guy, because at the end, he's revealed to be trans. Where is it? Where's the J.K. Rowling joke? I can't find it. I know it's in there, though. The existence of this book that the movie is based on made me extremely excited until I tried to look it up and discovered that I can't find anything. I can only assume it's never been translated into English and I will never find it, I will never get to read it. So that is extremely sad, but we do have the movie. According to some articles that I read, this film was produced by a charity group, a Russian charity group, with support from the Russian Orthodox Church, a Russian Orthodox publishing house, the Suvorov Military School, as well as the Ministry of Defense and the Ministry of Culture. So I wonder how that's gonna play out for this movie. But before we get into it, I need to tell you about this video sponsor, Audible. I love audiobooks. I've been having a lot of those quarantine days where your brain just does not want to, and they're awesome for that. And I finally took into account all of your recommendations and listened to The Secret History, the Dark Academia Bible itself. So yeah, when you sign up to Audible and get your first free audiobook, you should get Gideon the Ninth. And Audible is now giving its members even more with the all-new Plus catalog, filled with thousands of select audiobooks, podcasts, Audible originals, guided fitness and meditation programs, sleep tracks for better rest, and more. So head on over to audible.com/strangeeons or text strangeeons to 500-500 to start your 30-day free trial, check out their Plus catalog, and of course get one free audiobook. And back to your regularly scheduled content. One of the first things we see when this movie begins is that this evil wizard, whose name we later find out is Leonard. What an evil name, Leonard. He's driving around in his car flanked by Dementors, because they're evil looking, I guess. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter what they did in the original Harry Potter. It doesn't matter what they are. They're just there for the evil vibes. They don't even do anything in this movie. It's just they look evil. There's a live action part of this movie, which I did not expect, actually. There's this dude who is telling the story. The story is the animated part of the movie, and he's telling the story to this group of 3 kids who are at, like, some kind of military school camp type of place. I'm not really clear. Also, the music in this movie is absolutely wild. There's always something wrong and upsetting about it. 10 out of 10. Adds a lot to the cursed vibes. There's like these Russian military dudes who are like, okay, we need to send some spies into knockoff Scottish Hogwarts. And then there's one of the guys in the room is like, we did. He was found out. Which implies that this spy man got straight up murdered by wizard children. They fed him to Aragog, he's gone, he's dead. So the new plan now is to send in some hip young teenage spies who will blend in. They have some really convenient footage, just really, really, really convenient footage, just projected from an iPad onto the wall of this like Tumblr sexy man looking Dumbledore just explaining his whole evil plan, which honestly doesn't really clear anything up. I have no idea what's going on. There's a chosen one. They're planning to plant a program in the minds of Russian children. What does that mean? Back to evil wizard Leonard. He works for Hogwarts and his job seems to be just straight up going around to schools and corrupting children. He just walks into a classroom and is like, hey kids, want to see some magic? This one girl in the class, let's call her Ginny Weasley, is like, you know, only God can do real miracles, So he crouches over her desk like a bug and goes, yeah, you think so? You think so? You want to take this to the Denny's parking lot, little girl? He gives her the pitch about becoming a wizard and forsaking her family and motherland, and she agrees, and as she nods, as she agrees to the terms of his evil contract, there's a thunder sound effect in the background, and ooh, subtle. The child spy they've selected is Pointy Draco over here. There's this, like, 2011 makeup tutorial music playing in the background the whole time, so you know they're talking about real serious Russian spy business. And they're like, Draco, your job is to go find the Russian children who have been seduced into Scottish Hogwarts and bring them back to Russia. They don't want to come back. We tried asking them nicely already. We asked them and they said they didn't want to come back, but it doesn't matter. And Draco is like, cool, sounds great. Can I bring my boyfriend though? I get that the relationship is supposed to be like, wholesome brotherly bond between the dudes. Is male friendship not so inspiring? And absolutely yes, men should be allowed to have close and emotional friendships, but this is a Russian propaganda film and I will not pass up. They're gay. They're gay now? I diagnosed them with gay. Ginny Weasley is the granddaughter of one of the military dudes who recruited Draco, and she's like, I'm gonna go become a wizard, and he's like, oh no, don't do that. And then Draco and his boyfriend walk in, and they start talking spy business, and she overhears them. The plot is thick. Whoa. Just kidding, this doesn't matter. This never matters. I was watching this and I was like, oh, like now she knows. Now she knows their plan. She's gonna tell Leonard about something. She's gonna foil them. It's gonna get all... This scene never matters. Our boys head to Scotland. They cuddle on the plane, which is just, They parachute down from their plane, and there's like a 2-long montage of them doing romanticized, rugged spy things in the woods. There's also this whole-ass adult man there with them who's like, hey kids, let me tell you about when something happened in 1999. So now we're in 1999. The good Russian soldiers see some bad guys murdering people hilariously and doing anti-religious symbolism. So that's a big no-no. And it was the wizard's fault. All of this was the wizard's fault somehow. And that, kids, is why all you have in life is the Lord and the motherland and classic womanhood. I'm literally so lost. I did a little bit of, like, just reading through articles about this. There weren't that many. Like, if you look it up, you really can't find that much information. But I think what's implied is that, like, the bad soldiers who were stepping on crosses were supposed to be NATO, and NATO is allied with Scottish Hogwarts for some reason. I think that might actually make less sense, but I'm pretty sure it's what's supposed to be going on here. We cut back to the live action section, and the guy who's been narrating is like, well, that's all for tonight, my dudes. And then nobody asks any questions. He just turns around and walks out immediately. Choice acting. Just fantastic stuff. There's this really loud dubstep music playing to cover up how painfully awkward these scenes would look otherwise. Military propaganda for children. Wow, wouldn't you too, a Russian child, love to throw knives to dubstep music and fight evil wizards? The boys are having a rowdy night playing some rock, paper, scissors when the dude who's telling the story comes back into their tent and continues our epic tale. Draco and his posse of spies fly their personal helicopters, which are extremely dweeby looking, off to Greece to go meet with some elders. The elders tell them about how, like, Jesus is really cool or something, and this majestic bird flies across the sunset. Nature is beautiful. Draco asks if the wizards are powerful, and the elders are like, well, my boy, that depends how much you love Jesus, because the witchcraft can't get you if you've got a thick spiritual armor of Jesus. But if you let the devil in, well, then the devil's in there, and then the devil's gonna tell the imps about it, and then the imps are gonna tell the wizards about it, and then where are we gonna be? What in the heck? Also, their chosen one is the Antichrist, and also a Russian who betrayed us. And the way to defeat them, also, by the way, is praying at them. So, cool, got that lore. The elders also tell Draco to go, like, vibe in that cave down the street for a little bit and have a spiritual journey. Some straight up demons are just crawling out of the shadows of this cave, and he does not react. He does not give a shit. The elder gives him a cross, and then the boys are off. They arrive at Scottish Hogwarts. Draco is sneakily sneaking around and falls through a skylight into a massive room of people and is just like, hello! I'm sorry I'm late. I would like to enroll here. And then the Hogwarts admin are just like, that checks. What was it? Siberian shaman teleport all the time. A dude falling through their ceiling in a free teleportation accident is just like a Tuesday. Let's let him into the school. But the live action guy telling the story is like, maybe they believed him that he was a wizard, and maybe that's why they let him in, but maybe they just let him in because they saw that he was Russian, and their whole agenda is corrupting the minds of young Russians. It's like, what? That's big brain. It's really big brain. The castle is literally Hogwarts. Like, it's just literally Hogwarts. Except for the little, edit that, some of the students live in nests. They live in nests. And also there's a designated dorm for the vampire students, too, which, in my opinion, is a massive improvement. This evil egg is teaching them about channeling their greed so that they can summon the Philosopher's Stone and just get unlimited money out of it like a piñata, I guess. Also, there's this knockoff Deathly Hallows symbol on the board behind him, really living for this absolutely mangled Harry Potter lore. They run into Ginny. She may be a child, but she still single-handedly crossed the border and got into Scotland using hypnosis. Don't worry about it. They have a class, my dudes. They have a class on seduction. Or at least these 4 female students specifically do. This one girl looks even less okay than most of the characters in this movie do. The professor is like having a fucking TED talk over here, like, you too can learn to oppress men, my future whores. And Ginny is like, what's a whore? Well, whores are the predecessors of all wizards. Whatever the hell that means. And Ginny is like, but what if I want to be faithful to my future husband? And the professor is like, well, you better forsake those Russian values, renounce God and the motherland if you are to become a good wizard. Which is like the 500th time I feel like that's been said in this movie. Like, we get it. Draco meets this other Russian student, Hermione. She doesn't look like her, but she has brown hair, you know? Like, it's getting tough over here. She's Hermione. So Hermione is like, this is a bad place. This is a bad place where bad things happen. They're trying to take our Jesus shields. She also she's got something against bonsai trees. She just brings it up, like, unprompted. She just brings it up, like, you know, those little trees. Evil egg professor, he collects those things. That's how you know he's evil. He just, fuck those ugly little trees, am I right? Jesus, okay, you're safe. Pointy Draco isn't real. Professor McGonagall is like, okay, kids, it's time for flying lessons. Now, to do that, to fly, you need to get rid of your soul, because everybody knows that you need to get rid of your soul to fly, idiot. All those things in there, like love and duty, just weigh you down. It's science. One of the kids is like, but professor, how do I yeet my soul to Satan? And McGonagall is like, that is very simple. You must forsake God and Mother Russia. Your homework is an essay about why you hate Russia. Please welcome Ron with a helpful example. Hey freshmen, hey fellow kids. Russia sucks, am I right? It sucks, it's weird and gross and I don't like it. And Ginny is like, but I love Russia. And McGonagall is like, well then you'll never be a real wizard. Sees her. And he just kind of like goes like this on her arms a little bit while she keeps talking about how lit Russia is. And then Draco's boyfriend stands up and is like, I think Russia's cool too, and just starts smacking everyone with a broom. Draco's boyfriend and Ginny run away, but they get cornered in the halls by a bunch of men with guns, and at first I'm like, what? Like, y'all can do magic. But then I remember that Scottish Hogwarts is backed by NATO. So that's, I guess, why there's men with guns everywhere, even though they can do magic. My brain is melting. So they get put in cages. Meanwhile, Draco heads over to Evil Egg Professor's office and is like, my boy, my dude, my buddy. Let's talk bonsai trees. How much to buy that one over there? Of course, it costs friendship. I will sell you that pine tree and it will cost you your friends. What does that mean? What does that even mean? Draco shatters one of the pots, probably on purpose. It's hard to tell because the animation is so bad, but he's a little shit who has something against tiny trees, so probably knocks it down on purpose. So the pot breaks, and inside is the most special Fabergé egg in the world. Are we just spinning the wheel of incomprehensible plot twists at this point? The professor, he's just like, no, don't touch it. Don't touch it, don't touch it, don't touch the egg, don't squeeze the egg. It is the most special egg in the world. It belonged to Archduke Franz Ferdinand. This egg started World War I. And Draco was like, very cool. Now that I have this very special Fabergé egg as collateral, you will take me to the naughty Russian basement jail where my friends are. How I don't know how to cope with this. Somewhere else, in the tangles of this thick plot, the headmaster is planning his big banquet for the Antichrist. Draco breaks Ginny out. His boyfriend was not there. They took him somewhere else, but he breaks Ginny out. Evil Egg Professor, that name that works for multiple reasons. He's just like, no, this is boring. I have things to do. Why don't you just give me my egg back and go away? This random other kid sneaks out from behind a corner and is like, I too am a good Russian boy. Would you like to converse about being a good Russian boy and how much we love the motherland? And Draco was like, of course! But it turns out that this boy is only distracting him with talk of how cool Russia is so that Evil Egg Professor can Petrificus Totalis them. Ginny's spiritual shield is too thick because she's a classic woman who wants to be faithful to her husband, so it doesn't work on her. But it works on Draco, and he's like, oh no, I must think good Russian boy thoughts about Jesus so that I will be free. And then he does, and then he gets free. Eggman is like, no, leave me and my Fabergé egg that started World War I alone. And this, standing in one place, I guess kind of in their way, and whining is apparently enough of a problem for Draco to call in the Russian military, which is to say, this guy. He's really doing the most, though. Antichrist party has begun. Ginny and Draco's boyfriend are going to be human sacrifices. The Antichrist is some random other Russian student who we haven't even met before, which is very anticlimactic. I thought it was going to be Leonard the whole time. Like, I was operating under the assumption that he was going to be the Antichrist, just because of the way they juxtaposed some scenes at the beginning, like vague allusions to the Antichrist, and then him going off and doing evil wizard business. So I was a little bit like, what? When it was just like, oh yeah, this character that we've never met and is here for like 30 seconds is the Antichrist now. This thing that we've been foreshadowing for like the entire movie. It's great storytelling, guys. Love it. Speaking of great storytelling, Draco and Ginny set off a bomb and now the entire castle is on fire and they're running away. They get cornered on the edge of a cliff and evil Eggman is like, join us or die. But Draco whips out his cross that the elders gave him and it starts like reflecting light and glowing. And it signals that one Russian soldier dude who's just been running around smashing stuff in his helicopter, and he swoops down in his helicopter and he just murders everyone. He just murders all the wizards and the NATO guys. R.I.P. Evil Egg. We cut back to the live-action military camp kids, and one of them voices exactly what I've been thinking for like the last 30 minutes, which is, what the heck happened to Leonard? Like, that guy was really set up to be important there, huh? What's up with that? And the storyteller is like, well, the wizards got foiled, right? So he was gonna kill himself out of shame. But then, while he was doing that, he got eaten by monsters also.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
He continues this fun little epilogue. Scottish Hogwarts was destroyed and all of the wizards went into hiding. Draco and Hermione got married and had 3 kids, etc. Also, remember when I said like 3 seconds ago that the wizards were defeated and went into hiding? Yeah, right. That was before. Now they're back, actually. And I told you this story because it's 100% real, and the only reason it was animated was because our budget is like a paperclip and 2 pieces of string, but it's 100% real, and you are now the next generation of spies. Pointy Draco is real, and he works here, and I scheduled you a meeting with him tomorrow. Bye. Don't forget to kiss the homies goodnight. And roll credits. That's it. That's the film. Ooh, buddy. I feel like this movie would be an amazing intoxicated hate watch if you have any special person in your life that you like to inflict horrible things upon. I think you should keep it in mind. I'm still mourning that I will never be able to read that book, though. It sounds just... Maybe I'll just have to read the Chuck Tingle version or something. I'm sure it's more fun, honestly. I hope you found this video to be very spicy and educational, and I will see you in another one very soon, my friends.